What's up, y'all? Welcome to the Pro Lover Show, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. We back. I got some friends with me. Some friends that been here before, but they back.
Some familiar friends.
Some familiar friends.
Hey.
I got Dom. I got C Diddy, man.
What up, what up?
It's another good episode of the Pro Lover, man. Tonight, we talking about sexual communication. We talking about how a lot of people don't know, understand how to communicate sexually with their partner, how to receive the communication their partner gives off sexually, or how to create a safe space for sexual communication.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what we're going to get into, man. And if y'all don't know, I wrote a book. I wrote an ebook. It is called The 20-Day Climax. And fittingly so that I bring it up, even though I plug it on every episode. It's about creating a safe space for sexual communication. Right. So teaser, in that book, I take people on a 20-day journey, and it's for couples that either have a poppin' sex life or they fell in the bedroom, right? It could work for both couples, because what I found is that most people, when it comes to sex, they just step up to the plate and they just go ahead and swing away and they hope for the best. This book provides an opportunity to go through so many different things, from your playlist to your setting to oral to kissing to all these different, every different chapter is 20 chapters.
Yeah.
So it's 20 nights that you partake in this thing, and you do your best not to go all the way, but the goal is to learn how to pleasure your partner in that time, and then on that 20th night you go all the way. So I open it up with that, and I think it's only right that we go ladies first, because you be dealing with guys. I don't be dealing with you. See, Diddy,
Nah, never. I haven't.
I don't do.
It's not my wheelhouse.
Never have, never will. But I want to know from a female's perspective, has a guy, and talk about him if the answer is yes, ever made you feel comfortable communicating what you liked sexually? And I'm talking about post. I ain't talking about what's your favorite position. I'm talking about after you've had some. Have you ever had a guy that was like, I want to be good. I want to be better. Let's talk.
Yeah, no, I have. And it's it really does make a difference. I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her that I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was telling her that it is that we don't do it often enough. And what happens is, us women, we don't communicate, and we suffer in silence, guy after guy after guy, and it happens.
It's just bad.
And then you don't hear about it until we break up with you. Then it's like, that's why you ain't did it. And then that's when that's when you get the feedback. But
Said that 18 weeks ago.
right, but it's like we fall into this habit of, we really like a guy and we're not pleased sexually. We don't communicate it, and then we just deal with it, and we suffer in silence, and we just put up with it because we just like them so much. And then until we stop liking them, now it's like, you ain't good at this, you ain't make me come, you ain't do that. We go into that after that, but we have to have that healthy communication before that.
So the Pro Lover is all about giving people atypical love life lessons, right? So I need you to tell your homegirls, your cohorts and henchmen, how do you set the table for a guy to have the safe space to explain to him? Because most guys got ego.
And that's
where I was going to go with my...
He not eating it right. He not hitting it right. How do you do it?
That's one of the things that a lot of women, they don't want to bring it up, because it's like, if I say something, the ego, or, but to me, at my age and as time passed, I'm like, I'm no longer going to sit there and be silent and just suffer and just take whatever you give. Me, you thinking you throwing it down and I'm unsatisfied. Like, I'm too old for that. We're not doing that anymore. So to me, it's just to have it sometimes in the moment might not always be the best, because sometimes that could, sometimes having it separately.
That's never the best.
Yeah. That's what you don't want to do. Having the conversation separately, but the communication piece on having a safe space to do it is above and beyond just the sexual conversation. Your relationship should have a safe place for communication as a whole.
Period.
So sometimes people are like, I don't feel safe. Then there's to me, a little bit bigger of a problem than just that conversation. You
that's
should
a
be able
fact.
to, yeah.
So C. Diddy, have you ever been on the bad side of said communication? Has a young lady ever came back and was like, that ain't it? And how'd you get through it if so?
No, but I have had a time where I knew it wasn't it. I'm just like, dang. Like, I'm just
I think we have
yeah,
all-
you
every
didn't
gentleman has had
make the
that.
most of that. Like that was you are not getting a call back. But luckily, she gave me the opportunity to redeem myself.
Okay.
And then I smoked her. And then it was cool. You know what I mean? But
Smoke.
in the moment, like I'm having an existential crisis. I'm in the mirror, like, yo, you really like you shit the
let
bed
yourself
on that.
go. You let us
yeah,
down.
you let us down today, big guy.
Oh man, I think every guy has been through that. I've definitely been through that. It's a funny thing. I was actually telling a friend of mine that I just connected the dots to something that's super important that I'm gonna share with gentlemen everywhere right now. Excitement turns into, and this could be nervousness, it could be anxiety. But I'm putting excitement under all of those umbrellas. It turns into the high probability of premature ejaculation.
Facts.
And a lot of men don't know that. And I was one of said men that didn't know that for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, this was something that it happened to me a bunch of times, right? But by a bunch, I mean, in the grand scheme of how much sex I've had, not that often, but
Yeah.
often enough for me to be like, what?
And
This
what's
going
crazy
on?
is because we're so ego driven, those bad times stick out more
Way
than
more.
the good times.
Way more. I'm used to batting 1,000. What's going on tonight? Who was this picture? You know what I'm saying?
Threw a change up at you.
Threw a change up. So I researched it. Like, that's one thing about me when I talk about being the pro lover, right? I talk about being a pro lover because at a certain time in my life, I was straight whore, right? But the thing about me was I wanted to be good at sex. I always wanted to be good at sex.
Same here.
So I researched things, I looked up things, I practiced, right? So this was a thing where the last time this happened to me, I was like, no, something in the water, something different. And each guy's is different. Like, my thing is like, I can't have sex if I got pee. Like, if I had to pee, I'm a preemie when I got pee. Like, I got to go get it out, or baby girl, this could be over pretty quick.
It's for me, I can do it, but I'm gonna be thinking about like
The pee.
the pig. Like it's gonna be like a mental block where it's like, all right, I'm getting through it, I'm here, but it's just like, why I just keep thinking about the fact that I got a pig.
Yeah, every guy is different when it comes to those different things and the reasons why they may or may not come faster. But mine's definitely peeing, and I've learned that for most gentlemen, it's some form of excitement.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to get your nerves down, calm yourself, and get into a state of being that's like sexual energy, right? And with a lot of men, y'all putting y'all, I don't want to say foot in your mouth. I don't really say nothing in your mouth. You're doing yourself a disservice by not practicing foreplay. Because
Absolutely.
the foreplay for a woman is kind of starting her motor, and the foreplay for a man is kind of bringing his motor to an even keel.
Exactly.
Right? Getting you kind of used to the fact that, all right, this is about to go down. Because this is another one for me. I don't know about for you, but I ain't know I was getting ready to get some. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
Like, when it's like,
You been waiting for 4 days, like that just Tuesday, like Friday night, be ready.
no, not that one. That's pre-planned. I'm talking about the one when we just kicking it, it's casual. Next thing I know,
Oh, and
some
then
game's about to jump
yeah.
off. That's deadly for me.
No, I'm good. I'm good in that setting.
I'm terrible in that setting.
Yeah, like the pre-planned John is just like, I might fuck this up.
I'm great at the pre-planned.
Yeah, but it's like
joint.
in the Netflix and chill. We just in the crib, we kicking, drinking wine, might smoke a little weed, whatever. I'm good in that
Yeah,
setting.
see.
I'm the king.
Me and C Diddy is two totally different
Yeah,
people when it comes to that.
yeah,
Give me a
yeah,
head
I'm
start.
good.
I'm knocking it out the park. I'm telling you right
Doing
now.
push-ups,
I'm
pull-ups.
having moves ready. You give me a head start. It's up. Don't surprise me with it. You surprise me with it. It's not going to be the best of times. I'm going to need a do-over. I'll tell you right now. I'm going to need a do-over. So I wanted to pose this question too to the two of y'all. And get personal. Don't tell me no names, but get personal.
Yeah.
because I want the people to be able to learn from this. So a time in your lives when you were having, I don't want to say bad sex, but subpar sex, right? But you and subpar someone had a conversation and you changed it, right? It could be oral, it could be just the physical sex. Like, how did the change come about, if either of you will venture?
I had a situation with this girl that I liked having sex with a lot. Like, the sex was phenomenal. She could not give head at all. Okay. And no matter how much instruction I gave her, it was just a disconnect. Like,
going down.
Dick in her face, she just boop beep boop, like system overload. She could not figure it out. And it's crazy because I had a conversation with her recently, and she was like, I think I scarred her for life. She's like, yo, I remember you told me my head was trash. Like, and she's like, you know what? To this day, it's still trash. So it's like, it's just one of them things. She just had a total disconnect.
That wasn't the question I was looking for. See, did he say, here's how I never fixed it?
Yeah, I tried to fix it. It didn't get fixed.
Here's how I tried.
It's a disconnect.
I told her, well, you said the show was about atypical love. Like that. I told her shit was trash, and it ain't work.
And it's still trash.
It's still trash.
It's still trash.
So that's on her. The point that I was making to bring it home, that's on her.
He said,
because I tried to help, and I didn't tell her it was trash. She told me that. I'm like, you're lying on me. Because it sounds like something I would say. I know I didn't say that. But she just can't take direction. Because it's like, yo, 10 years later, your head is still trash. That's a you problem. That's not on me.
So we're going to derive from that C. Diddy is saying, learn how to take direction is what he's saying.
Bingo.
Or your head is still going to be trash for 10
years later.
Dom, have you ever fixed someone and told him how to do something, and the next time around you was like, okay.
Yeah, I have.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I had a situation where it was like the first time was trash. And then I was like, you know what? I'm like, but you know, I like this person.
Get another shot.
I give him another shot. And then we talked about it because he knew it was trash. So it was an easy conversation.
He was like me in the mirror, like, damn.
Yeah, because you knew.
Bro,
so we had a conversation.
No second time and you was trash the first time, that'll scar you.
If you don't get an opportunity to write a BDR, which is a bad dick report, if you don't get an opportunity to fix a BDR, it'll scar you. It's like having points on your driver's license.
I can't look at those young ladies in their face when I run into them. If I had a bad scenario.
But he fixed it.
It was fixed, and we had that conversation, that dialogue, and I'm just like, you was doing too much here, you was not doing enough there, and we talked about it, and then next time he came, okay, he listened.
So surface, right, is where you are right now, but speak for all womanhood, right? Because obviously I know you ain't gonna give up too much of your own business and tell us exactly what he was doing wrong. But by and large, what do you hear? And again, this is for gentlemen that may be watching to try something new for their situation. What do you by and large hear women say, niggas just ain't doing right?
So the number one thing, and this is so important, you talked about it a minute ago, the foreplay. But this is bigger than that, though. It kind of ties into that, is a lot of guys don't understand. I've talked to numerous women. I'm a woman myself. We will tell you, when we say that guy that had the best sex, when we say that's the guy who always makes sure that we're taken care of first. Mm-hmm. That's that guy. Mm-hmm. When you always make sure that woman is taken care of first, you were in that category as that was the best sex I've ever had in my life. And a lot of guys don't understand that. They miss that point, because at the end of the day, when we have sex, a guy's gonna be good regardless. Mm-hmm. It could be trash, it could be whatever, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be good regardless. You're gonna be taken care of regardless. Women were not. Mm-hmm. So when you have a guy who comes to the table with, I want to make sure you're pleased first, mm-hmm. and then because I know I'm gonna get mine, I'm here to take care of you and you first, and then I'll get mine after that. That is always the best. Mm-hmm. And a lot of guys miss that point, and it ties into a lot of the foreplay part too. Some guys just figure like, oh, I'm gonna just go ahead and dick it down and she gonna think I'm the greatest. And that's not the case. And a lot of guys don't understand, a lot of women cannot have an orgasm without having direct stimulation.
Right.
Some women can and some women can't. Mm-hmm. And as a guy, you have to understand that. Some women can you can dick her down and she can have an orgasm. That's cool. Some women
and
cannot.
that's sexual communication.
Right.
Learning
That is
that about your
learning that about a partner. So a lot of guys have that misunderstanding. Like if I just poke her, it's good. I'm big. That has nothing to do with it. And it's not always going to end in a great time for her. Like we'll deal with it, but
Go along to get along.
yeah, like you'll go along with it. But at the end of the day, it's like
So
after a while, it's
let me cut in, Kyle.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Fellas, the point that Dom is making is the men that they remember are the ones that understand sexual communication, understanding her love language, and those are the ones that imprint on her, and she's going to remember him forever. And it's like, and if you don't take the time to understand what this woman's want, if she's communicating her needs, because women will tell you either directly or indirectly, and it's up to you to pick up on those cues and take advantage of this insight that she's giving you. And you either going to be remembered or you're going to be forgotten and get scrubbed from the body count.
Right, you will be all.
and it ain't got nothing to do with size, because guys think because I'm this size, that
Right.
size, it has nothing to do with it.
Hold on to that one. We're gonna get to that one. But I wanted to say I'm writing another ebook. It's called The 7 C's to Better Sex. Okay. These ain't jokes. But the first one is actually care. And that's something that you touched on. The average man doesn't care about what the woman's experience is in the bedroom.
That's a fact.
That is definitely a fact.
They go into it, especially if it's something new. Finally got the pussy, right? Secondary might be, I'm gonna tear the pussy up, she gonna love me, right?
Selfish
sex.
sex.
And thirdary might be, I'm gonna try to hang on a little bit, see if she can come too.
And fourth might be, I'm gonna steal $40 out of her purse when she go to sleep.
That's a different book, right? Ain't in my book. See Diddy write a different one. But the point I'm making is fellas, you have to start to care. One thing about me, my whole sexual career, like even no bullshit, when I lost my virginity, I remember like coming back in a room and asking Shorty how she felt. And I lost my virginity to somebody that was a virgin at the same time as I was. And I came back in a room and I'm checking on her. I'm like, yo, you good? You know what I mean? Because she was like, she had her head down. She was like kind of balled up and stuff, but she was more so like kind of reflecting on the fact like I just had sex. You know what I'm saying? So, and in that moment, I kind of learned like, all right, this is very different for me and her. Like, I'm like, I just had sex, nigga. And she's like, kind of like,
did I do the right thing?
Did I do the right thing? Like, she's like she wasn't sad, but she definitely wasn't happy. But she was like, just like she was thinking, right?
The virginity's
and
gone.
I just was like, you know, well, you could chill, you know what I mean? Whatever time you need. And from there on, I always was like very interested in how the woman perceived the whole situation.
Absolutely.
Like I always been the candles, the R&B music, like my house is clean, like all of that type of stuff. I've always been how can I make this experience better for a woman? And I've always been a question asker. Like when we get done, I've always been the dude like, was this good? Did you like that? Da, 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 da. I've always been that dude. And I know that everything you do for one don't work for the next one.
Right.
But at a certain point, a woman is a woman. You know what I'm saying? And at a certain point, pleasure is pleasure. So it's not necessarily about trying the next thing on the next person, but it's definitely about having a deep ass bag of tricks.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And my bag is deep. I got a deep ass bag. But that came from, you know, wanting to learn and to go there.
And being sexually curious and inquisitive and not being afraid to potentially put your ego on the line to find out the answer and to find out the truth.
But you know what another thing is though? Why a lot of guys, like you say, they don't care because you have a lot of people that they're not that invested into that person that they're having sex with.
That's a fact. They
to
sport fucking.
really invest in that time to figure it out and get it right.
Right.
It's just I'm fucking you, I'm on to the next. And then you have so many of those experiences and that's you don't care because you're not in it to care.
Yeah. The average nigga don't care.
They don't care.
He just wants some yams. Where the yams at? Where the
Right.
yams
And
at?
it's selfish. And there's a lot of people out here giving selfish sex and it's
I got a question
terrible.
for Kai.
What's up?
Because I'm kind of wired the same way as you as far as like caring about, you know, my performance and how does she feel about it and all of that. But the problem is when you care too much, have you ever gotten yourself in trouble where you having sex with a woman like you love her, but you don't? But now, because you doing the candles and the R&B music and all of this, now you jammed up and you basically like end up in a 5-year situation that you didn't plan on being in.
I've never been in a 5-year situation I ain't plan on being in. But what I will say is I've actually had women say something like that to me. You know what I'm saying? And I have had a few hearts that were entangled in a way that I didn't envision.
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm thankful for those experiences because they taught me not to not be myself, but to make sure my communication was open and honest.
Exactly.
Because me, like, I'm not a fucker. I'm a love maker. Like, it's just what I do. Like, if we gonna do it, we gonna do it slow and we gonna have a good time. Now, within that communication, if your thing is being picked up and tossed around, choked a little bit, hair pulled or whatever, I'm gonna give you what
can
you
make provisions.
need. Yeah. I'm gonna give you what you need. Because my thing is like with what Dom said, I'm gonna get mine.
Yeah.
I go into it like that. Like, I get off on getting her off. Like, I really want to be like women who've dealt with me. They will watch this shit and be like, that's that nigga. I want to be your best.
Yeah.
Like, I really, and I'm not out here telling you I'm everybody's best.
Yeah.
Some of them know. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I strive for that. Like, I've had conversations that was like, I mean, you might be top 5. What can I do better?
Yeah.
Like, I want to get you to say I was the best you ever had. You know what I'm saying? So with that mentality being my mentality for such a long time, I've always just been like, look, I'm going to do it to you the way I do it. And if you fall in love, you fall in love. if I strike out, I strike out.
Yeah, the reason why I ask is because, some women can handle it, some women can't. And sometimes you can set the table and communicate all you want. That
100%.
Even though the sex is intensive, this is a casual experience. And they'll be like, oh yeah, it's cool. And then have the sex and be like, no, nigga, we go together.
You know the problem.
But that's because women are wired differently than men. So women, and I don't care what any woman says, women will be out here trying to say, well, I can detach my emotions from the physical, and you can't. We're not wired that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Now you have women that do that is because they that's a trauma response. Like,
and
because of trauma, they're able to do that.
And they're only designed to do it for a limited amount of time.
A limited amount, right. That's why you can't, and it's like some women can, like I said, and that's because things in their past have caused them to mentally shift, and they're able to get into that space when necessary. And that's like like I said, a trauma thing. But the way we are wired, it's connected. That's why you have sex with women all the time. They get emotional. They get attached because that's the way we are actually wired. Men, you guys are like compartments. That has nothing to do with that. Women, we're all intertwined like spaghetti.
I think there's exceptions to rules. However, I'm going to disagree with y'all, and it's 2 reasons I'm going to disagree. Right. Number one, with what you said about women will agree. You set the table to how it's going to be. The biggest issue there is most men are trash sexually. So now when you are somebody who's actually good at it and you saying, it's just going to be a casual experience, baby girl. I just want to she like, okay, nigga, like, it's cool. Now you snatch her soul and she like, oh, wait a minute. I wasn't ready for that casual experience. I thought she was like the rest of these niggas. You know what I'm saying? So it's a difference within that. If you one of those low percentile performers, there are women who can compartmentalize. You know what I'm saying? There are women who, I've had great sex with women who came to me as a compartment, right? I've had sex with women that were like, it's not that good at home. And this was whether we dealt 1 or 2 times before or we never dealt, and they just thought I was the bee's knees. I've been approached that way. Yeah. And I've had those types of relationships with women that was like, I know what the fuck it is, and they never was messy, it never was drama. So I gotta disagree.
But what's the percentage of those women compared to the rest of the field?
Well, that's why I started with it being exceptions to the rule. But I'm just saying, like, I think that's something that people always say. But I do believe I've met and dealt with enough women for me to say that I disagree, because I've had those types of relationships with women that kept it completely G.
Yeah, but the thing that you said, that there was reasons why they were able to be that way.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying.
I think even guys got those reasons.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying, like, so if we're wired that way, I can be that way because of this. I can be that way because of that.
Just fighting your wiring is what you're saying.
Right.
In those cases, I guess I could agree. I could agree there.
Ooh, damn, he's cute. Who's cute?
Nobody.
Girl, let me see. Her new little boo thing. Girl, are you cheating on Mike?
No. I mean, I was thinking about it.
Why?
Bree, the sex is bad. I need some excitement. Me and Mike only use the bedroom for the bed.
See, that's y'all problem. Y'all need to be up on the kitchen table with it.
Girl, shut up. No, what you need is the 20-day climax.
What's that?
It's the new ebook by the Pro Lover. Justin and I just finished it, and when I tell you we have not been able to keep our hands off each other, every single page is a new spark. Look, that's his page right there. You can order it.
To order the 20-day climax, visit theprolover.net.
Setting the table. Let's go back to setting the table. Obviously, we know it's not why while we're having sex that we're not going to, say a certain thing.
That's
but I'll speak first and give you guys a chance to chime in on setting the table for sexual conversation, sexual communication. Dom, we just did it with Work Bay, right? Mm-hmm. I had to hurry up and finish that sentence because niggas were gonna be like, wait, I knew it.
We just did it. I knew it. Busted.
We just
on the Pro Lover show.
Talking too much. Work Bay 2. Mm-hmm. So when I write these movies, I write them in a way that sets the table for people to look inside of their relationship based on what they're viewing, and then have an open dialogue between their significant, right? Mm-hmm. So I bring that up to say, there's films about shit. Mm-hmm. That's a way to set the table.
Yes.
Right? Just put that movie on.
Start talking about it.
Right? Mm-hmm. Your significant, might be smart enough to be like, hey, you put this on, right? But if you can finesse it in a way that's thorough enough, you can do that. Another way is to bring up friends, right? Man, Chad said him and his lady, you know what I'm saying, and strike up a story that way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes you have to know who you're dealing with, because everybody is not the person who you could just be like out of clear blue thin air. Hey, what you think about this? Whatever it may be. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. Babe, would you ever do this? Everybody ain't that person. So you got to know who your person is and figure out a way to set that table. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Another thing I always say to people is just say it. And not contradicting, not pulling it out of the clear blue, but just set the table. Babe, don't get upset. This ain't about me per se. And I don't want to have no argument or no fight. I just want to have a grown-up conversation about something. Is you with it? Don't judge me.
Yeah.
Safe space me. Right? But again, you got to know who you with, right? And get that go ahead.
Might get busted upside the head with a shoe.
You don't want to do that. But have that open dialogue. So those are some ways. And if either of you want to add some ways or speak on some of the ones
I was going to say, I'm like a podcast person. So now there's like a big emergence of, podcasts that are around intersexual dynamics and stuff like this. And I'm just naturally inquisitive about, even if it's not something specific that I'm trying to get across, I'm just curious into penetrating my woman's mind and understanding how she thinks or how she views something that I might have been viewing. So I put these podcasts on, these clips or whatever. We talk about them. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? She might say, I disagree with what he said. What did you disagree about it? Well, my thoughts on it is this. And I just keep like an open line of like healthy communication and just healthy debate in my house just in general. Fact. Just to where it's like when these scenarios do come up, we've kind of already encountered them already.
And that's a smart thing to say, because these scenarios, they come at some point in your relationship. It's better.
It might not be mile marker 1, but by mile marker 38, you gonna run into that jump.
Run into something. Dom, what say you? How can people set the table for these convos?
I say, like you said, putting something on that relates to it, so that way you can do that way. I recently bought a game. It was like a card game.
Okay.
And it was like based on relationships. So it's like all these questions, and you can ask your partner, and then to open up just all the things that are hard to talk about, so you can make it fun to talk about them. So I recently did something like that, and I like that's a good way to set the table, because it's not like I'm coming at you directly. It's like, hey, let's play this game. Now we're bringing up all these topics, and now even if the card ain't get picked, I can say, hey, well, what do you think about that? Because now you're open to receiving these questions.
That's
and
a
stuff.
fact. And that card game reminds me of something, man. I'm gonna tell on myself, man. I'm gonna tell on myself. Damn. Young ladies who I did this with in the past, I'm sorry. However the relationship may have turned out, I'm sorry. But this is what I used to do. Oh no. And this is about as old as damn, did I have it? Yeah, when I had my BlackBerry, I think I had it. I had the not the BlackBerry, it was a Blackjack. But anywho,
Palm Pilot.
you could put this was when like phones first started getting like notes and Word and stuff like that where you could type in. So what I used to do, this shit is crazy. When I would meet a new joint, and mind you, I was a savage back in the day. I used to, when I worked downtown, I used to have a quota. It was like I had to bag at least one joint.
So you were hold on, not to cut in your story. So basically, you treating meeting women like sales appointments.
Yes.
It's like you book this amount, did this amount of numbers, you go on this amount of dates, you had this amount of sex.
Bro, I had a quota, bro. I had to get a phone number a day. Like I was straight savage.
Getting 365 plus numbers a day.
And listen, I was making my quota, bro.
I ain't missing them.
Listen,
my numbers.
I'm 68% above goal year over year.
I was, bro. It was working downtown Chestnut Street, Walnut
like
Street.
It's like highways.
It was bad. Then at the job and all that, but we off in another. So what ended up happening, and this is what supports these numbers, I ended up having to figure out a way to have streamlined conversations that would kind of like let my cream rise to the top. Like, you know what I mean? I got 8 numbers this week. Like, I'm just sheer time. I can't deal with all of them.
Yeah.
But who I want to deal. So to the point of these cards, bro.
Is it rating?
I created multiple choice questions. And my whole game, like when I worked down there, I was in a call center. So especially like a few years in, I had nothing but time on my hands at work. Like I had 3 companies. I think I had like school district, SEPTA, and like somebody else, so University of Penn or something. Those are the only people that could call me. So I might have got like 10 calls in an 8-hour day. So the rest of my time, I'm on the phone. I'm Twitter fingers before Twitter. I literally like copied. I had multiple choice questions.
Now you ain't copy and paste the questions to everybody.
And I copy and paste these questions
and
to
just send them out.
And what was crazy was
Bro had the SATs.
I was ahead of my time because the response this shit got was crazy. And I'm saying this, hopefully some young people will take this game and use it the right way. Yeah. And the people you might send these questions to won't watch this show. But I literally used it as a form of ice breaking, right? I would say, look, let's play a game. I'm at work, being transparent. I'm at work. I ain't got nothing but time on my hands. Let's play a game. Mind you, I'm sending this to like 6 different women at a time. Multiple choice questions.
Not knowing you screening them.
I'm screening them. I'm always screening them. I'm like, who gonna do what? And this is the thing that used to work. 6 questions in,
got the yam assessments.
Something freaky coming. Something a little bit juicy coming. Yeah. Give you a love.
I'm gonna applaud you for waiting for 6 questions in, because most niggas, that's the first question.
Wham!
You be twerking.
You be twerking. That wasn't on my multiple choice. But I had Jones like easy Jones, like you on a beach, what items you taking, shit like that.
Yeah.
And they be thinking like, all right, this is a fun game.
Yeah.
The next John might come around and be like, you like, what's the best type of sex? Taboo sex, breakup sex, makeup sex, da 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 da. And then how you got them, right? This is a pro tip. This is a pro tip about the company.
Pro lover.
How you got them was certain Jones would expound upon those questions, right? Some of them would be like, D, And that's it.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't tangle with that. I'm like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. Next
You
question.
said, Shorty, you went down
But
on the
some
list.
Jones might
You went
be
down
like,
on the list.
That's a hard one because now you know.
Like, got
her. Look, you got to do the Kanye one.
Gotcha.
Gotcha.
Terrible.
Oh man, I was bad.
To that point, I have a homie that would literally sit in the house all day and like role play scenarios on like what he's going to say to women to like sharpen his game. He's like, all right, I'm gonna say this, and then if she say this, then I'm gonna say this. But if she say this, then I'm gonna say this. Oh no, that was some bullshit. Hold on, let me reset. Like he like for 4, 5, 6 hours a day, and I'm just
Yikes.
like, you're insane,
You definitely
Yes.
insane. Psychopath.
but it works for him.
I mean, women love role play and story, and they love atypical circumstance. Like that was the one thing that playing this game, if you will, did for me. And that's why I said the card game, it reminded me of it. Like
yeah.
I'm probably a nigga that should have invented that card game.
You be rich right now.
I'd be rich. But I was literally doing that, and I had a notepad of like 30 of these joints. And I would literally be like, all right, I'm gonna send her this joint next. Copy, paste.
Yeah.
Like all day at work, I would do this. And the tip and the point that I'm getting to, not to just harp on the past, but it is in communicating, there has to be a level of consistency, variety, intrigue, and even melody, right? Mm-hmm. And when I say melody, that one, don't think musically, but think I can get with this, right?
Rhythm.
Like rhythm. Like some people have a spotty communication.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not gonna work, especially what we talking about sexually, if it's it depends what woman you talking to, right? Because I've had women who can go back and forth with me with the sexual communication.
Yeah.
And I've had women who we not talking about that at all. I've had women who we were sexual already.
Yeah.
And they still don't want me to
They don't wanna talk about it.
sex,
Yeah.
right? And I had to grow up to get to a point where I was like, well, then we can't deal with each other then. Because I like to talk my shit.
Yeah.
I like to talk about these things, right? If we're intimate, I want to talk about our intimacy. And I had to grow up and learn that wasn't something that every woman was interested in.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And to the point that you're making, that's a maturity point on your behalf because you're taking the time to recognize, like, all right, she's not my speed.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas most men will stick around just for access to the sex.
Exactly.
And just completely ignore all of these cues and all of this info
Right.
that she's giving you that is like, nah, let's not,
Right.
like, we can have sex, let's not talk about
That's
it.
a fact. And vagina is a powerful drug.
Yes.
Vagina is a powerful drug. I tell people, I have two philosophies. One of them I'll give on this show that I've given before. It's a post-pussy nigga and it's a pre-pussy nigga, right? It's two types of niggas. This is game for my young ladies, all right? This is one of my philosophies. I might give the other one too, because it was some of my young bucks that I've mentored, they told me it changed their life. But this one has changed a lot of my males' lives. And it came to me after I read Think and Grow Rich, right? So a pre-pussy nigga, he is doing everything in his power to get some yams. Mm-hmm. He does not care what, how, when, why, but if he can produce yamage, that's what he's going to do, right? He will lie, he will cheat, he will steal, he will pay, right? He will do whatever he has to do, and then he will deal with the consequences.
Right.
Whether that be flat tires, women fighting in the club, baby mama leaving them, whatever it might be, right? The vagina is that important to a pre-pussy nigga. A post-pussy nigga, he's only considering the aftermath
Of what's gonna
having
happen.
those yams,
Yeah.
right? He's considering how crazy she might be. He's considering his wife and kids and family at home. He's considering the 5 minutes after he ejaculates and he's laying with this woman, if he wants her to be there or not.
Yeah, if the disgust is
The
going to set.
disgust is going to set it. And that was like the main one for me, where it was like, I'm probably not going to want to see her after this.
After you bust that nut, how you gonna feel about them?
How you gonna feel?
Because it changes.
It definitely changes. And I had a homie when I was a lot younger. This is probably 20 years ago. He said this. He said the worst thing a woman could do is fuck me. And we was in our 20s. And at first I heard him like, what? And when it set in, I was like, this nigga right. He right.
This nigga knows some shit.
He knows some shit. He Confucius.
Hood Aristotle.
Bro, it made all the sense in the world because at that age, we was thinking pre-pussy. We was literally thinking once I hit, I'm done. Like, where's the next hole at? You know what I'm saying? Like now, my thought process is funny. I was just having this convo with a friend of mine. My thought process now, especially with my career finally getting some traction, I'm thinking about everything.
Right.
I'm like if somebody is on my team, or if somebody that I'm working with, or if somebody's in my DM, I'm considering everything. Yeah. I'm like, what is the worst that can happen? And what's the worst minus? I'm there first. And I'm like, if I want no tinge of that on me at all, I stay away.
If you're a man that don't have nothing to lose from just going through life, period, let alone adding sex into the equation, you haven't found your purpose yet. And once you get to a point where you're literally living in your purpose and then everything else that's around you is ancillary to that, you're always going to put your purpose first and think about, what do I have to lose if this shit goes left? Whether that be a business opportunity, a woman that you're dealing with, trying to fuck your assistant, all the goofy shit that men in positions of power do. Or men not in positions of power too do that derail their success and their purpose.
Right. And that's why I brought up Think and Grow Rich. So if you read the book like many of us had, you're gonna recognize where I'm going. If you haven't, it's a great book. Check it out. I'm endorsing it because it changed my life, not because I make a dime. But they talk about sexual transmutation, right? Which is very near and dear to our topic tonight, sexual communication. So sexual transmutation, I'm gonna paraphrase, but I had to read this book 3 times before I was like, are they in my closet? Like, why are they talking about me in this chapter, right? But it talks about the motivation of a man and having sex being the number one. And then it talks about all of these other things, power, money, respect, competition, all these other different things. In the book, they say you can combine all of these things that are underneath sex, and they're still not as powerful as sex, right? And then they go on to talk about, and again, I'm paraphrasing, but to think about the things you've done for sex, and also think about the things you haven't done that could have benefited, like you talked about your purpose or your success, that you was like, no. So when I heard that, my mind automatically went to this, and you're going to be able to feel me on this. You is too, because you've been on the other side of it. Let's give it a good time. It's a Monday. Matter of fact, it's a Sunday. You chilling. You get a phone call from an associate, and they like, yo, bro, what you doing on Tuesday? It's this event. I know you in the podcasting, you in the filmmaking. We gonna go down here. We gonna hobnob, da 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 da. Your response is typically, I'm gonna see what I'm doing. I'm gonna hit you back. I might check it out with you or whatever, right? Let it be Tuesday. You worked all day. You tired, right? This the man side. You tired. It's 2:30 a.m. You just showered, laid down, fluffed the pillow, got snuggly. You get a "what you doing" text. What you need me to be doing? I'm up. You out.
I'm just cleaning the crib.
I'm just. What you need? You're there. Yeah. You understand me? You are there. And when they talked about this in this chapter, that's where I was like, yo, they talking about me.
Yeah.
And the meaning of it all was for you to consciously learn your power and to learn that sexual transmutation don't have to be sexual. You can transmutate whatever you want just by shifting your focus. and communicating to yourself. When Dom called me for that meeting about film, that's the number one thing. I'm moving that up above sex on the list, and I'm going to bust my ass and move like that. When I started thinking that way, I literally changed my life. Like, I literally was the young boy that thought getting all of the chicks and the yams made me the man. Broke as hell, but I'm the man because I got the ones you can't get.
Yep.
But once I figured out that when that chapter hit me that last time, I said, damn, I got to move like that.
Yeah.
I got to put some of this shit on the back.
And the larger point that you're making is that so many of us as young men, because I thought the same shit for a long time. You get all the pussy you can get. That's the key to being who you're going to be and unlocking your manhood. And so many of us are just taught wrong.
Or not taught at all.
Or not taught at all and left to figure it out. I was literally taught wrong. Like this, I got it from every level. My grandfather, my dad, my older cousins, my homies that we just all fried, just misleading each other, just sending everybody in the wrong direction. And then it's like, yo, when you get old enough, or not even old enough, live enough life, have enough experience, and then you start to understand that shouldn't be the number one thing. It was never it.
It was never it. Like I always go back and forth with if I would give it back or not for my success. And it's a game we play all the time that you can't do it. But I always think about it from the aspect of like with what you said, I didn't have any like respectable men in my life, in my circle, because of the way I came up. I was in the system in the whole nine, so I always bounced around in life. I didn't meet a respectable man until my 30s.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? So I always think about like, damn, if I had somebody in my life that was like, young boy, you talented, let's focus over here.
Yeah, let's point that energy in a positive direction.
All of that'll come. Let's do this, rather than me going off on the tangent that was, well, I got a job, my bills is paid, so let me not do nothing else but try to get a number every single day. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was never a thing that I was taught. And I always thought about that in a way that's like, damn, like, where would I be now had I known that versus the experience I did have and the shorties I did knock down and being like, would I give it all back?
Yeah, you're just weighing out like actual tangible life success versus sexual gratification. And it's like, which one is more important? And it's like, you never really know the answer.
You don't, especially if you had some good ones.
If you had some good, man, you had some sex, might have had some sex 22 years ago that you randomly remember one day.
Right. And it ain't even, it's not even for me, it's not even about, because if I gotta be honest, the lifestyle I've lived, if it were exposed, I'd be ashamed. Like, and I ain't never done nothing heinous or nothing like that. But if people could really look at like I put myself out there. There was a time when, and you probably gonna echo this, C. Diddy. There was a time when I would get off of work and few homies I had that was into the same type of shit, we literally would go to, whether it been the Gallery, one of the malls, Cheltenham, Willow Grove, Franklin Mills, South Street, any event that might have been going on. I never was a big club dude, but I was definitely on South Street when it was popping, Old City when it was popping. I was out there playing let-outs and stuff like that. But I'm saying what I'm saying to say the goal was vagina.
Yeah.
Like I literally lived through years, but decades of my life, like my whole like 18 to probably like 30, I was looking for the next vagina. And I'm not proud of the escapades that I had during those years. I'm not.
Yeah.
Again, if it could be exposed, I would be ashamed for people to see how I was like really like driving to Shippensburg with a bad transmission for some new yams.
Literally putting your life on the line.
Doing things like, and going to, I don't know if it's safe here. I ain't got nothing on me.
To that point, I had a conversation with some of my homies that I've known my whole life recently. And I'm just like, yo, thinking about when you 17, 18, 19, and you in somebody's mom car pulling up on this block at whatever time of night, whatever.
Yes.
It's like, yo, we was literally putting our lives in danger in the name of vagina.
Yes.
And didn't see nothing wrong with it because we was doing the same thing 3 or 4 days a week.
Yes. I've been I've been in some situations. I'll give one of them situations out when we do our Sound Like a Lie that is true. And this is Dom's second time being on this show, so she definitely got to share.
You got to come with it, Dom.
A Sounds Like a Lie, but it's true situation. All right? Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go to the media real quick because we like to do some things on this show. So I'm going to go to the media. So recently, Monique had her show. And one of the things about the show was everybody said it wasn't fucking funny. I didn't see it.
I couldn't get through. It was it was just too vulgar and too much cursing, and I'm just like, y'all know I'm getting older.
That's crazy. For
me to say, it was just like because it was just like it was just curse words for the sake of like curse words. It wasn't moving.
It didn't feel like art.
It didn't feel like art at all. And I'm just like, yo, the problem is, I'm like, I don't think Monique realizes like what Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr and Chris Rock have done in moving the genre forward. You gotta be more prepared and a better orator than this, like a thought leader rather than just like
it's got to be substance.
These hoes for an hour.
Right. So one of the things she spoke on, it might have been a joke, but her husband coming out saying he wanted to be with another woman. Or her coming out and saying she wanted to be with another woman. And the joke was him saying, well, me too.
Me too, yeah.
So that is the sexual communication, right? So I'm bringing that up to go there, to go into that realm. How do we properly, and it's not just for like I want to have sex with another woman or another man or whatever, but there's things that people are into, right? You might be into cosplay, you might be into little butt play, whatever you might be into. How is the right way to introduce something new? Let's put ourselves in the mind of we're with somebody. Let's give it some time. Let's say 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And we've never communicated to this person that this is something that I'm into. How would you guys, in your personal lives or just advice, explain to somebody that you want to try something new that's out of the realm of what you guys have been doing in the bedroom?
The realest piece of advice I can give is that you got to start how you want to finish. And if you into some wild shit, you need to or some alternatives type shit, you need to let your partner know that from the beginning.
I couldn't agree more.
Because if you in this situation 3, 4, 5, 6 years and then you spring this on them and then the probing starts. So it's like you can say what you want to say. Oh, hey, I think we should try this. But when the probing starts, can you stand up against the probing questions that your partner is going to ask you? Well, have you done this before? How did you land on how many people did you do this with? How did you discover that you like this? Like, can you stand up against that and defend it in a righteous manner and not just something that's just a sexual desire and there's nothing else attached to this and you can't communicate or explain yourself when you get hit with the interrogation room?
So that's a different side that C Diddy bring up for the answer to that question. But he not wrong. He not wrong. Whatever you into, you gotta say that you into it.
You gotta disclose it and disclaim it.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah, say it up front.
But what if I learn something new about myself?
That is true. And that happens too, because some people like there might be something they didn't know about and then they find out about it and like, I'm curious now, I want to try it.
Yeah.
So that it could be a real thing too. But like you said before, the best way to say it is to say it. Like, especially if you've been with somebody for like 5, 6 years.
They might be thinking the same thing.
Just say it.
They might be thinking we need to try something.
But it's not even just, this is something that I think I want to try. Do you have anything you want to try? Let's open the floor. Right. Let's have something you want to try that you haven't told me.
That's great advice. I say that to folks all the time. Qualify what you're about to ask with creating a safe space for your person.
Yeah.
And that goes with everything sexually, like I mean everything besides sexually, including sex. You can come to your partner in multitudes of ways. A lot of times people come to their partners abrasively, or they come to their partners abruptly
at a point of frustration.
And it comes out that way, right? Rarely do people say, hey, and I'm gonna give a scenario. Let's just say you in a relationship and both of y'all been eating too much and y'all both got heavy a little bit, right? Rather than you look at your spouse and be like, yo, you might want to go to the gym, put yourself in the gym first.
Lead by example.
Hey, I know I let myself slip a little bit. I'm ready to try the Atkins, and I got us memberships to the Planet Fitness. Right? That's a different type of communication than, babe, you looking kind of like you can't just go that way. Right? And obviously that's not a sexual communication, but when things are, sexual in the bedroom, you gotta venture the same thing. Am I pleasing you? Right? Start with yourself. Is there anything I could be doing better? I noticed the last couple of times you ain't come. What's going on?
And you got to ask earnestly and be willing to accept whatever comes back.
That's a fact.
That's the key.
That's a fact. And
People ask questions, they not ready for the answers.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That sets the table for you to take a little bit, right? Because that's, again, you said it earlier on in the conversation. Relationship, you gotta give it, right? And it shall be your turn to receive.
Yeah.
So if you go in with that mindset, you can set it up. Hey, babe, what am I gonna do? Is she gonna hit you with something? Well, he could. That's crazy you say that because, I really opened up this dialogue because I wanted to tell you, like, the last couple of times you did this, but I like it this way. You know what I'm saying? And now y'all going down that path, right? And your partner will feel at least a little bit, reluctant to jump all over you, especially if they already, gave you something that you need to work on. Now it's more like it's a we instead of a you, because nobody likes that. Nobody likes to be like, because this is the first thing, especially a woman gonna say, well, nigga, you gotta stop doing that. Well, nigga, I know you ain't. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like that's the place that you got to be able to get to. Question. Has anybody ever sprung something like that on one of y'all in a relationship out the blue ski? I'm into this, babe.
I've never had not anything like crazy.
I usually do the springing. I ain't gonna hold you.
I've never had somebody spring like something crazy.
I'm definitely a spring chicken. March 29th. I usually do the springing. So it's like in a past life in some past relationships, I was like threesome bull. Like that. It's just like we don't really go together if we don't have a threesome. Like, so find somebody. I would put it on them. I send them out recruiting, but it was like mandatory that was that was a prerequisite.
I'm learning that me and you are a lot more alike than we are different.
Yeah.
But that's not my past life. I'm
still living that life.
I'm still around. But that's a good one because I have always so. It's funny. I'm gonna tell this story. I found out what I was interested in at a very young age. I found out that lesbians was my twist.
Right.
Because y'all remember when you was a young boy, you had the AB button. Right, to get you some titties on the TV, and typically, that was your access to porn, or somebody leaving a DVD.
That was as good as it gets.
VHS, and somebody had to leave something around for you, in order for you to get some free titties on the TV. Somebody had to leave something. So, what happened in my life was we got the motherfucker satellite dish. So I don't know who might remember, but on the satellite dish, there was a channel that played horse racing all day until about 1 a.m. 1 a.m., that shit turned to the Spice Channel. Bruh. This is how Freaky D Young Boys was. Like, they got a phone and a laptop now, their iPad, whatever they got. They could just boop, 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 boop.
I used to come home from school as like a 10, 11, 12-year-old going to Longstreth. My grandparents lived literally around the corner on 55th and Pentridge, and I would go there. Nobody's home because they all at work. My grandmother got a government job. My grandfather worked for SEPTA, so we just in the house. I'm in the room with the door half cracked so I can still hear somebody coming, watching on the jailbroken cable box, watching porn, switching back and forth on the last channel.
Oh, we all did it. This what happened to me. Me and my brother We in the room. We in the living room. Everybody sleep. I don't know how we figured out horse racing turned to the Spice Channel
Curiosity.
at 1 a.m. We probably just flipping through it and found it one night, and it, like clockwork, 12:59. We ready to be like, it's about to turn over, player. It's about to turn over, and that joint would just jump. It would literally just jump over.
Yeah.
It might be mid-scene. It might be something coming on, whatever. Long story short, all I'd ever seen was heterosexual sex
Yeah.
at this point. I'm young. I might have been 11, 12 at this point.
That's when
I
it
think
start-
I was a little early. I might have been 13. But nonetheless, I'm watching one time, and it's black people this time. And that was rare.
I was like, oh shit.
On these Jones,
Black people?
that was rare.
Yeah.
But it happened every now and again. So it's two shorties, two black girls. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Changed his life.
They in like some sort of massage parlor, whatever it might be. And they start going in on each other, the two women.
You like
This the first
young
time,
Kyrie, like
Changed
see
his life.
bro. When I tell you, I'm holding my own for a minute. My brother's asleep. I'm looking at him. I scooched up on that damn TV to where he can't see what's going on. And I went right to town. And my life never been the same since, bro. Like, and that's just to talk about how like what we see and hear, it really influences us, because I didn't know that was a thing before then.
Right.
And after then, it's all I wanted to see, and it's all I've ever thought about manifesting in my real life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not into nothing. I'm not, don't beat me, don't spank me, don't tie me up. I don't want no blindfold.
said, just
I'm
give me
not
two
into
bitches.
nothing. Just give me two.
Just give it 2 bitches.
That's all I need. That's all I need. And I've been that way ever since then. And that's just like a story that changed my life.
yeah, the image is burned in your brain. It's on the hard drive.
I didn't know it was a thing. I was like, girls can do it to girls. You lying. And then here come a player in between them. I was like, no one told me about
Patterned
this.
your life after that.
I did. No one told me about this. Like a young boy. Have either of y'all had an experience that changed your life when you was young, when you was like, wow, I didn't know this could happen?
I mean, just like I said, just watching porn in general just made me sexually curious at like a very, very young age. And it's just like, I was just super horny young boy like my whole life.
I think we all was super horny young
Yeah,
boy.
like it probably didn't level out till about like 25. So like 10 to 25.
Yeah, mine was about 12 to 30. That was about my joint. Like, just and it don't help when I got into modeling and all of that type of stuff. I'm just around so many women, and I was saying this to somebody the other day. It was different. I was saying it to some young boys. It was different before Instagram, before social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And even at the time where there was like, you know, MySpace, Black Planet, those things were social media. We didn't call it that back then, but they weren't respected. Like it was like something else you did. Like, I'm gonna jump in this Yahoo chat room or whatever. It was something else you did. It wasn't respected. So respect back then was like you doing something with yourself. And I was on tour back in the days. I was going up and down the East Coast with Black Men's Magazine.
Yeah.
And I was the sideshow, right? I was it's 6 or 8 dudes. We gonna come out for intermission after the women. It's 100 women in these shows. Right? So, you know, it's different when it's lopsided like that. Like, they treating us like pieces of meat. And we love it. We can't get enough of it. You know what I'm saying? So I came up in an era that was like the worst possible perfect storm for someone like me. Because I'm attractive, I'm workout ball all the time.
Yeah.
Every weekend I'm with 80 to 100 bad Johns who don't got the Instagram, I got 300,000 followers.
Right.
Like, the women I was with at that time all would have had 1 million followers if they was on IG at that time.
Yeah.
I'm talking about all the best models in the country are coming over here. Like, the women we used to, Black Men's Magazine, we opened it.
Yeah.
I used to be with those women every other weekend, bro. You understand what I'm saying? And I was sought after because it was like, well, if he here, he got to be somebody.
Exactly.
It wasn't how many followers you got. It was, oh, he here, he's somebody.
Yeah.
And that's what I rode on. And it was just like, it was like pick 'em. And like we said, with that mentality of like, I'm the man because I can do this, it was just the worst possible environment for me to be in. Like, shit was crazy.
Yeah.
Dominique, sounds like a lie, but it's true.
All right,
You
so
gotta
I'm gonna
give
tell-
us one.
I'm gonna give you something on topic.
Let's go.
I'm gonna give you one on topic.
what I
So,
like.
Even better.
So when I was younger, like y'all was younger, and y'all was out here trying to smash all the yams in the streets, I knew that y'all was trying to smash all the yams in the streets. So I did the opposite. I'm like, okay, because that space of time where a guy will give you and do whatever the hell he need to do to get the yams,
Yeah.
that space, that zone, I played in
You
that
lived
zone.
in that space.
I lived in that space. When I tell you, I shopping trips, flew out, everything I need, anything I wanted. I had a roster of, and I would play in that space. And then when it got to like I can't play in that space anymore because they putting the pressure on me, bye. And I'm on to the next. So I was the person I was the woman that discovered that at a younger age, like, and I would have like all these friends and I'll hear all these stories of these girls like, oh, he get the yams, he gone.
Right.
And they crying and stuff. And I learned earlier on, like, oh, I don't want to be her.
Yeah, I want the benefits.
I don't want to
the
be
tears.
her. And then growing up with my brother and his friends, it's like, and hearing all the stuff, it's like, and they do all this stuff and then smash and pass. I'm like, oh, I don't want to be that. And then I learn and I'm like, oh, let me play in this zone. Oh, this zone works. Okay, because y'all gonna do anything because you think you're gonna get the yams. And I'm gonna play with you and tag you along to make you think you're gonna get the yams.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get everything, all the benefits up front. And then when it's done, I'm moving on to the next.
Bruh, strike me down if I'm lying, but earlier on I said I got two philosophies. And I said I gave it to one of my young Jones I used to mentor. And it was that. It was literally that. Like I explained to her, men are chasing this carrot. Remember the cartoon? The horse got the carrot in front of it, but the carrot is tied to the damn horse, so it's never gonna get closer to it. That's vagina for the pre-pussy man that I spoke about earlier, right? And what I broke down to my mentee, I said, listen, one of the reasons you're not getting what you want is because you're giving up the carrot.
Yep.
The carrot has to constantly move.
Yeah.
But the trick of it is the male has to be able to see the carrot. It's an art and a talent to be able to tantalize enough for a man to commit with his dollar or his time or whatever it may be because he's chasing that carrot. It's also a talent to know and see and understand what type of, man that is. And I say that because I don't want to give out advice that's dangerous, right?
Right.
And again, I hate to call it advice, it's lessons.
Lessons.
But I don't want to give out things that's dangerous, but it's important to know who you're dealing with, right? Because what we talking about doing is not right?
Yeah.
What Dom just talked about doing is not right? It's things that we did from our past, and it's manipulation on both sides. We want to learn how to use manipulation for good, right? But I side with the woman who is smart enough
Absolutely.
to understand how to manipulate a man who only wanted vagina.
Yeah.
I side with her.
One thing I absolutely always give credit to the women from the 90s and the early 2000s is they, as a whole, were more skilled in the art of seduction than the women are now.
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
the thing that Dom is describing is, you might kind of be, you basically playing with these niggas, but on the same token, a lot of them probably still felt good at the end of it, even though they didn't get what they wanted, because they get to be seen with this beautiful woman. You somebody that other people are coveting. So there was still a value exchange that took place, even though they may not have gotten the end result, which is to have sex with you. The women now are just like, give me your money, nigga, fuck you. Like, and it's no seduction, it's no service, it's no you don't get nothing for your money.
Is posted on their page.
Yeah,
That's what it is. This
that
day
part.
and age.
And it's funny too because, like you said, every woman they got all over Instagram. They just putting out themselves out there for free, and I'm like, okay, but people like times may change, but a lot of things still don't change.
Yeah.
As a man and what you want, what you don't want, some of those things are still the same.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to tell to a lot of women. Like, you got to stop. Yeah, they'll click on that. They'll like it. Oh shit. They don't want that. So like you got women that are doing it and thinking that that's the way I'm going to find that guy that I'm looking for. That's the way and I'm like, no, it's not.
And the biggest misnomer that they all are operating under is they think that it's like, all right, if we all look a certain way, present a certain way, that's how you catch this certain
Right.
type of man. But it's like, yo, when all of y'all look the same way, do the same shit, it just becomes regular. Like you just another M&M in the bag of M&Ms. There's nothing special about it.
They become a collection.
Right.
Because there's already more women than men.
Yeah.
Right. So now you think about what a collector does. Right. They want variations of the same
thing.
exact
Yeah.
thing. Right. Women can't collect men. It's just not enough of us.
Yeah.
Right. But at a certain point, when you start to look and feel and dress and act and be the same way, you're going to attract a certain man who can afford the luxury to have multiples, right? But he's going to treat you how you want. You're never going to be a wife. You're there primarily for sex and show, right? And you're choosing to become a part of that type of lifestyle, right? You're choosing to be collected, right? You're not coveted. You're not revered, right? You think about the things that are coveted and revered. They're rare.
Yeah.
Right.
And look
Right.
at the women that these 1%, these 0.3% men marry versus the ones that they deal with. It's completely night and day.
Exactly.
It's not the same profile.
And the crazy part, I talk about this about my woman all the time. On social media, my woman gives that vibe, right? She's looks like one of those it girls, right?
Yeah.
And she performs like one of those it girls on social media. But she also sells a lifestyle, right? So her looking that way and portraying that way, and she's not like raunchy or ghetto or nasty with it, but she's very sexual and sensual on her page. But that sells travel, that sells clothing, that sells bikinis, that sells all of the things that are
doing it with a purpose.
within her brand, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But then the other side is she got 2 degrees. Right, she's very educated.
Yeah.
She's been running her own business for years. She's leads a team of shit's grown. It's probably like 40 of them now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So she has so much outside of that page persona that people can't see, right? And it's easy for people to look and assume. But if people know me, I would never wife that woman that belongs in said collection.
Yeah.
Because I'm not that type of guy. I have layers. And in order to connect with me in that way, you have to also have layers. And I think to your point about everybody looking and being the same, it's like y'all don't even understand. You look like the tip of the iceberg, but you don't even have what makes it float underneath.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So you it's a losing battle.
Listen, I had a girl that
It's all right to be different.
I absolutely loved that I felt like she was going too far into that very front-facing Instagram girl and all of that, and I just had to leave her alone. I loved her to death, and I just like this. It ain't for me. It's not on brand for me or for where I'm going. And you're inviting This is past seduction now. This is like damn near pornography on your Instagram page, and
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
too far.
I don't want to be represented in that way. You can do whatever you want because I'm not trying to control you, but I can't be represented in that way, and I had to let her go.
And I'll tell you one thing. I don't know if it would have been the gift or the curse for me to be born 15 years later than I was, because I was a bull. Obviously, I've turned into what I've turned into. But I had the camera that had the little CDs in it. You know what I'm saying? Like I had a camera a long time ago before I started to believe in what the camera could do for me, and social media wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
So I say that to say, like, I recorded some things. You know what I'm saying? whether it was of myself or me and somebody else. Like, I'm like, if I was born 15 years later, I probably have an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Like, I'm probably doing crazy shit on my OnlyFans for money, because I was broke at a certain point,
Yeah.
like
You're
contemplating
like,
crazier stuff.
I'm
than
broke.
OnlyFans.
This is how you make money. I go on here. I'm not broke no more. It's a simple solution.
Exactly, and I think about those things because I'm raising a child right now who's 16, about to be 17, and I always have to go back to who I was at that age before I just crack him upside his head or whatever it might be. And
Yeah.
I'm like, for some of the things that he's doing, I know I would have been doing that or worse. So it's like now I got to be a parent about it, and I got to be like trying my best to explain to him the rights and the wrongs without just being like, what the you know what I'm saying? Because I got to put myself in that mindset and be like, all right, but Kyrie, what if you had access like this?
Because it's different. That social media access is complete. Like, you have to raise these kids differently because of it. We didn't have it, so it's different. We got it now, but they grew up. They're growing up with it, and it's completely different. And even I have nieces, and it's like what you see, all these Instagram girls. They're telling you, you do this and you look like this. This is gonna get you money. It's gonna get you the man. So they're emulating it, and it's like, and I'm like, no. Man, let me tell you how to do it.
That's a losing path. Don't do it.
It's a facade. Like, it's not real. It's not real.
The information access is so much different. Like I mentioned me working at Blue Cross. I used to want to look like Martin. Like when Martin would get dressed on, I used to want to dress like Martin. So when I got this job that was like, you got to wear a shirt and tie, that was my barometer, right? So to your point of like, now the access and the information, it's so vast. Like when we were coming up, we went back to school and we all were talking about the same programming, right? We all was talking about what happened on Living Single, or Martin, or whatever show it might have been, whatever movie came out. Right. We all were talking about the same thing. Like, programming was like, you probably saw it, and it probably was for your genre, and it probably was
there were certain universal social cues and social experiences that we all shared.
And now it's so, and again, that's another gift and a curse. It's like, you can have 30 kids in a classroom all on different stuff these days. Whether they TikToking, they YouTubing, whatever they doing, they following different people, they watching different shows. They some of their people got Showtime, some got Stars. Like, it's just different.
Think about like an app like Reddit, where it's like, you know, the young white kids is on there trying to figure out how to fucking bankrupt companies and make a run on these stocks, and then the young black kids is on there talking about who shot who and who upped the score. And it's the same thing, the same exact platform being used for two totally different purposes.
Right. Man, I think we way off topic. And to that point, I'm gonna bring it to a close because it's feeling like we getting there. B, how long we at? Where we at? Oh damn, you supposed to been gave us the rap, B.
Supposed to give us.
He's just letting us rock and roll, man. C Diddy, who you, man? Tell the people who you are.
I'm Chad Fame, professionally known as C Diddy, one half of the realest podcast ever. You can follow me on social media at cdiddy.trpe, and everything for the company is official TRPE down to the website.
There you go. Dom, who you?
I am Dominique Janelle. You can look me up and follow me on Dominique.Janelle on IG. Hit up my IMDb's because I got IMDb's. So you can go there, Dominique Janelle on IMDb. Check out my credits because you know I got mine.
Dom always working on somebody's damn set. She gets busy. I'm gonna steal her one day though. One day I'm gonna throw in a headlock, give her a big enough check to only rock with Focus Studios. Watch. I'm Kyrie Terrell, man. As always, we filming down here at Potty Time, man. I got this set dressed up for the Pro Lover right now, but this set can be yours. The back panels can move, all that type of stuff. You can make it yours uniquely. We actually got 18 different set configurations for you to mix and match our sets, our furniture, the whole nine. And we can do your podcast. We can do everything, right? If you got a lot of money and you like, we want y'all to do everything, come down here. If you got a little bit of money and you like, I just want to spend a little bit of money, but I want to get my podcast done, we can do that too. Pottytime.com. Go check us out on IG, Pottytime Philly. And it's the Pro Lover Show. I'm not a pro because I always got it right. I'm a pro because I always got it wrong.
There you go.
Until now.